Hey guys, hi, welcome back. So in this video, we shall discuss about the conservation laws, and this is a very important topic of particle physics for the CSI NET and GATE examinations. So when we are talking about the conservation laws in particle physics, we know that the conservation laws are of two types. The first is the exact conservation law, and the second is the approximate conservation law. So exact conservation laws are those quantities which is conserved in specific interactions. Not conserved in all the types of interactions, right? It means it is conserved only in some specific interactions. So firstly, in this video, we shall discuss about the exact conservation laws. I will keep it quite simple and subtle. I will give you the conservation laws and we will see one example. Okay, so let's start with the exact conservation law in this video. And the video will be going too long if I discuss both the conservation laws in the same video. So I will discuss the approximate conservation law in the video after this. So let's start. So the first conservation law which comes under the exact conservation, it is the charge conservation. All right. So for a reaction to occur, the charge must be conserved in both the left hand side and the right hand side. So we will write here, in a reaction, the charge must be conserved in both the left hand side as well as the right hand side. All right, means charge of the left hand side, it must be equals to what? Charge of the right hand side. Now we will see an example. All right, so the example here is what? If I consider this particular reaction. All right, so if you see here, this is a neutron, this is what? P bar. We have already seen if there is a bar, okay, if a particle has a bar over it, then it is the antiparticle. So P is what? It denotes proton, and P bar, it is denoting its antiparticle, right? This is electron and this is antineutrino, and we know antineutrino, it is having no mass and no charge, right? So first of all, let's see the charge here. All right, so if you see neutron, it is a neutral particle, so its charge is 0. If you see for what? For the antiparticle of proton, the charge for proton is +1, so for its antiparticle it will be -1. When we talk about what? When we talk about electron, we know its charge is what? -1, and for antineutrino, it has no charge, so it is 0. So if you see here in the left hand side, all right, in the left hand side the charge is what? 0. In the right hand side it is -2. That means it is not equal. So this particular reaction, it is not allowed. Why? The reaction is not allowed as the charge is not conserved. So we will write here, the reaction is not allowed as charge is not conserved. All right, next we will see one more example. So the next example we are considering here is, this is a pion, right? So this is, all right, so if you see here in this particular case, so here what we will see? The charge. All right, so this is pi plus, so the charge is what? +1, right? If you see E plus, it is positron, the antiparticle of electron. So if you see here also the charge is what? +1. We know neutrino, they are massless particles, so its charge is what? 0. Now if you see, it is +1 and +1, right? In the left hand side also it is +1, in the right hand side also it is +1. That means it is equal. All right, so here what is there? The charge is conserved. Therefore, the charge is conserved, right? And hence the reaction is what? The reaction is allowed. All right, the reaction is allowed. Clear? This is all about the conservation of charge. Now we will see the conservation of energy, which is the second exact conservation law. So when we are talking about what? When we are talking about the conservation of energy, then we have to see the conservation of which energies? We have to see the conservation of the kinetic energy, and the second one we have to see the conservation of the rest mass energy. All right, these are the two conservations that we have to see. Clear? Now we will take an example. First of all, let's see an example. So this is a proton which gives a neutron plus positron plus neutrino. All right. So to see this particular reaction, that the energy is conserved or not, first of all we will see its rest mass. All right. So we already know the rest mass of proton. It is how much? 931.3 mega electron volt per c square, right? If you see the mass of rest mass, all right, this is the rest mass, all right. If you see the rest mass of what? Neutron, then it is 939.6 mega electron volt per c square. Clear? Next, for we will see for the positron. We know electron and positron, they are having the same rest mass, so it is 0.51 mega electron volt by c square. Neutrino, it is massless, right? So it will not have any rest mass. Clear? Now if we see in this case, in the left hand side, the rest mass of proton is 931, but if you see the rest mass of neutron, then it is 939, right? So here what is, you will see the rest mass of proton is what? Less than that of what? Neutron, right? So we have already seen in the previous videos how we are seeing how we check the energy released, all right, or you can say the binding energy. So energy released, it is denoted by Q, right? We have already seen in the previous video. You can go and see if you are having any doubt. So energy release, it is equals to Q, which is the difference of the mass of the initial particle minus mass of the final particle, c square. Now if you see here, I have already said the proton's rest mass is what? Less compared to that of neutron. That means what? The rest mass is what? Less in the left hand side, right? So you will get Q to be what? Q will be negative, right? Q is negative, means Q is less than 0. Till here it is clear? Now since Q is less than 0, that means the energy which is released, it is what? Less than 0. That means some energy must be supplied, or you can say what? There must be some energy which must be given for the reaction to occur, right? Q is less than 0. That means energy, all right, that means some energy is required for the reaction to occur. So we will write that is some energy is required for the reaction to occur. So after this, what we will see? We will see the energy inside the nucleus and we will see the energy outside the nucleus. So here what we will see? We will check two possibilities. The first one is inside the nucleus and the second one is what? Outside the nucleus. So firstly we will see inside the nucleus. So when we are talking about inside the nucleus, the first thing is that the reaction is what? The reaction is allowed inside the nucleus. Now the point is how we can say that the reaction is allowed inside the nucleus. See, when the proton is within the nucleus, right? Within the nucleus, the proton will move, right? And we know moving bodies are having what? Kinetic energy. So when the proton is moving within the nucleus, it will have some kinetic energy, and this kinetic energy, it is converted to the right hand side and it is added to the rest mass, right? Now what will happen? The particle whose rest mass is what? Less, it is converted into those particles whose rest mass is what? More than the parent nuclei. Clear? And why it is converted into parent nuclear? Because its kinetic energy is converted into rest mass. So here what we will write is that within the nucleus, the proton will move and has some kinetic energy which is converted to the right hand side and is added to its rest mass, right? Hence we can say, hence a particle, right, of mass, right, which is having what mass, a particle of mass breaks into particle, it is breaking into particle of masses which is heavier, which is heavier than parent particle masses. Clear? Hence a particle whose mass will break into particle of mass, it will break into what? Particle of mass which is heavier than the parent particle masses. Clear? Here neutron is having less mass, so it will be converted into what? The right hand side. Clear? Next we will see outside the nucleus. Next what we will see? Outside the nucleus. So if you see, outside the nucleus is also said as what? Free space, or you can say when the proton is at rest. So outside the nucleus what will happen? The reaction is not allowed. In this case the reaction is not allowed. Why the reaction is not allowed? Because outside the nucleus the proton is at rest. Now you see its mass is what? Less, right? Already its mass is what? Less. That means what? Some energy must be supplied. That means it will require some energy for the reaction to occur. Now since the proton is at rest and it will not move, that means it will have no kinetic energy, and we know a particle whose mass is less and it is at rest, all right, and it has no kinetic energy. In that case what will happen? The reaction will be not allowed because there is no movement in the particle, so no kinetic energy is there and the mass is also less. Clear? So this is all about the conservation of energy. Next we will see the conservation of lepton number. So when we will talk about the conservation of the lepton number, we will keep in mind a few points, right? So the first point is that whenever we will check the lepton number conservation, we will check for each family, all right? We will see for individual family. So the first point we will write is that check the, this I'm pointing is as A, okay? Check the lepton number for each family individually, all right? You have to see the lepton number for each member individually. Clear? Next is that lepton number for all other particles which are not leptons, it is 0. All right. The second point you have to remember is that lepton number for all other particles other than leptons is 0. Clear? And the third point is that if you have what? If you have lepton in a reaction, then you will have to keep in mind that that particular reaction will not allow strong interaction because leptons do not participate in strong interaction. So the third point is that if a reaction has leptons, right, then strong interaction is not allowed as leptons do not participate in strong interaction. Already when we are doing the classification, we have seen leptons and hadrons, right? When we are talking about leptons, they are only participating in weak and electromagnetic interaction, but not in strong interaction. Whereas if you see the hadrons, they are what? They are participating in all the three interactions: strong, weak, and electromagnetic. So these are the three most important things that you have to keep in mind about the leptons. Firstly, when you are checking the lepton number, then you have to check it for individual families, right? Second is what? Lepton number for all other particles which are not leptons, right? They are having zero lepton number. And the third important point is that if you see a lepton is there in a reaction, then you have to keep in mind that that particular reaction, it will not allow strong interaction, right? Because leptons are the particles which are not participating in strong interaction. They are only participating in weak and electromagnetic interactions. All right. Next, we will see how we will check the lepton number. So first of all, we will see leptons. All right. So in leptons, we are having electron family, muon family, and tauon family, right? Electrons, muons, and tauons along with their antiparticle. So now first we will see for the electron family, right? We will see for what? We will see for the electron family. So and here we will see for the muon family, and the last one we will see for what? For the tau family. And here this side I am writing the lepton number. Clear? So electron family. So this is very simple for a very easy flow and to remember what are the particles that will come under electron and muon and tau family. First of all, you have to write electron, right? Second will be what? Its antiparticle, that is E plus. Again you will have what? Neutrino, right? Next you will have what? Antineutrino. So electron, it is what? Electron is a lepton. So it will have lepton number 1 and neutrino. All right. This is a what? This is a neutrino, electron neutrino, right? So this is also a lepton. So its lepton number is 1. Now antiparticles will have what? Lepton number opposite to that of what? The particle. So this is antiparticle of electron. So its lepton number is -1. Similarly for this also you will have what? -1. Now we will see for the muon family. So you will have what? Mu negative, right? Its antiparticle is what? Mu plus. Similarly, its neutrino you will have, and the antineutrino also, right? So as you see, this is what? This is a lepton and this is a lepton. So they will have what? Lepton number +1, and it will have what? Lepton number -1. Clear? Next, similar things you will see for what? Tau family also you will have for tau minus, its anti particle. Again you will have what? Neutrino for this and its antineutrino. Clear? So this is a lepton, so it will have what? +1. This is also a lepton, so its lepton number is +1. So here you will have -1. So this is very simple. Just go for practice, then it will be very easy for you. And we have already studied when we have done the classification. We have seen leptons. They are having what? Lepton number. The antiparticles of leptons, they are having lepton number opposite to that of its particle. Clear? Now we will see an example. So if I consider this particular reaction, clear? So for this reaction, first of all, we will see the lepton number for the muon family. Suppose I'm checking first for the muon family. So here if you see, this is what? This is a lepton. So it will have what? 1. This is also a lepton. So it is 1. Clear? So this is conserved. Next, if you see for what? For the electron family. For the electron family. If you see here, the lepton number here is what? 0, because there is no electron in the left hand side. In the right hand side, if you see, this is having what? This is having +1, right? Because this is a lepton, right? And this is what? This is the antiparticle of neutrino, electron neutrino. So you will have here what? -1. So it is 1 and it is what? -1. So here also if you see what? It is conserved. All right. So if you see here, so here also what? The lepton number is what? Lepton number is conserved. All right, it is conserved for both what? The muon family and the electron family. Clear? So the reaction is allowed. So you write the reaction is allowed. Similarly, you can see some other reactions also. There you can see whether the reaction is allowed or not. So this is a very simple way to check. Next, we will see the conservation of what? Baryon number. So we have already seen which are baryons. All right. So here we will see the particles which are coming under baryons. So we have already seen in the classification that hadrons, it was classified on the basis of spin. It was classified as what? Meson and baryon. Then baryons were classified as what? Baryons were classified on the basis of lifetime, right? It was classified as what? It was classified as nucleons and it was classified as hyperon, right? So within this classification, what are the baryons that you will get? Nucleons will be neutron and proton, right? And for hyperons, you will have what? Lambda, right? Sigma plus minus 0. Xi you will be having, right? Xi is minus and 0. Then you will have delta plus plus, right? 1 plus is there. Then you will have what? 0. Clear? Again you will have what? Omega. All right. So if you see the baryon number also it must be conserved in all the reactions. Clear? So the baryon number for all the baryons is what? 1. Right? You will write here what? Baryon number for all the baryons is 1, and that for its antiparticle it will be what? And that for its antiparticle it is minus 1, right? For antiparticle the baryon number is minus 1 and for the particle it is plus 1. Now we will see an example. So if I consider this particular reaction, right? This is neutron, this is electron, this is the antiparticle of electron neutrino. So if you see here, this is what? This is what? Proton, right? And a bar is there, that means it is the antiparticle of proton. So it is coming on nucleon, right? So it will have what? Baryon number minus 1. Neutron, it is also a nucleon, so it will have what? Baryon number 1. So these are what? These are leptons, so they will have what? Baryon number 0, right? You have to keep in mind all other particles which are not baryons, they will have baryon number 0. Similar as that, all the leptons will have lepton number. Clear? So this is very simple. I don't think I will have to add one particular note for this. So if you see here, in this particular case, this is minus 1, this is plus 1, right? Left hand side is having baryon number minus 1 and the right hand side has plus 1. That means the baryon number here is what? It is not conserved, right? Baryon number is not conserved. That is what? The reaction is not allowed. The reaction is not allowed. You can see some more examples or you can solve some more questions in which the baryon number is conserved. Here I'm giving just 1 to 2 examples so that the video doesn't become too long. Next we will see the conservation of linear momentum. So next what we will see the conservation of linear momentum, right? So the linear momentum also it must be conserved in all the interactions. So for this to understand, we will consider an example, right? So this is what? This is electron, this is positron. Electron and positron they are annihilating and we are getting a gamma, right? So here if you see, if this is an electron, all right, this is a positron, this is coming from this side, this is coming from this side, clear? Then it is giving, they are annihilating and you are getting a what? Gamma, clear? So if you see here, we will put the conservation law. So you know what? For this case, before collision, you know, the momentum is what? 0. Now you will see what? Final, that is PF. If you are talking about gamma particle, we know E is equals to what? PC, right? In this case, because the energy is what? Energy, this is the energy for what? Massless particle, clear? we know this gamma it is a last massless particle, and we have already seen E is equals to Pc. This is a very well known relationship which you all know. I will not go in deep into that. From here you can write P final will be equals to what? E by C. Clear? So in this case what you will see, Pf it is what? E by C, that means it is not equals to 0, right? That means what? P initial, that is the momentum initial, it is not equals to what? Final momentum. Clear? So in this case what you will say, the linear momentum is not conserved and the reaction is not allowed. But if you would have in this reaction only, if you would have what? This is what? If you would have here one more gamma, right? Then you would get what? One gamma in this direction, one gamma in other direction, right? Then you could write what? Then this momentum would become what? 0, na? P final would become 0 because both are in opposite direction. Clear? So for this reaction you could say that the linear momentum is conserved and hence the reaction is allowed, while for this one the linear momentum is not conserved and hence the reaction is not allowed. Clear? So we know that this particular conservation, that is the angular momentum conservation, also it must be conserved in all the types of reaction because it is also a exact conservation law. So when we are talking about what? Angular momentum conservation, we know J is equals to what? L plus S, right? Orbital plus spin. So whenever you will have questions in that, you will have to solve the question according to the spin because L will be not given to you and you have to consider L to be 0. So when L will be equals to 0, then J will be equals to what? S, right? So if I consider here an example, this is neutron, which is a fermion, right? Proton plus electron. So if you see here, spin of fermion is half. For P proton also it is half. For electron also it is half. So now in this case you are having what? This is also J, this is also J. So for this what you are writing, the resultant you will find, okay? J will be equals to what? J1 plus J2, right? To J1. So this is J1 minus J2 to J1 plus J2, right? This is very simple. You have done it multiple number of times. So when you will do so, you will get half plus half is what? 1, right? And half minus half is what? 0. Now, when you will see the angular momentum conservation, you have to see in the left hand side, you are having spin. We are checking on the basis of spin, right? It is having half. And the right hand side, the resultant is what? 0 and 1. So there is no half in the right hand side. That means one value of J must match with the other side, right? So here it is not matching. That means what? The angular momentum is not conserved, right? It is not conserved. Hence what you will say? The reaction is not allowed. The reaction is not allowed. Clear? Next, if I take one other example, example 2, if I consider, right? This is a meson, clear? And this is what? Gamma plus gamma. You know for meson, the spin is what? The spin is 0. For gamma, what you are having? The spin is 1 and 1. So if you see here, this will give you what? 1 minus 1 is 0, right? 2, this is what? 1 plus 1 is 2. So here it will be 0, 1 and 2. Now you see this 0 and 0, it is what? Same. That means this reaction has what? Angular momentum conserved. And angular momentum is conserved, that means what? That is the reaction is allowed. Clear? So you have understood why we are using the spin here in this particular case, because we cannot get L from this particular reactions. Clear? And the last one what we will see, which is also coming under what? The exact conservation laws. That is what? CPT conservation. CPT conservation. Here C denotes what? The charge conjugation. C is what? It is the charge conjugation, right? The next one is what? P. P is the parity, right? T, it is the time reversal. Clear? So these are the 7 conservation laws which are coming under the exact conservation law. So this is all about the exact conservation laws. One more thing which is very important about the conservation law is that for a reaction to occur in nature, all the 7 exact conservation laws must be allowed for a reaction. All right. If a reaction is violating any of these conservation laws, then that particular reaction will not occur in nature. So this is a very important point that you have to remember. All right, so this is all about the conservation law, which is coming under the exact conservation law. In the next video we will see about the approximate conservation law. With this I am ending this video. One more thing that I want to ask you, that after this, because it's almost 3 to 4 lectures left for nuclear physics, after this which subject you want me to start, you can comment me in the comment section, and I will go with the majority. All right, so that's all in this video. Thank you so much. Have a good day.